Quickie Flicks. How are you, my friend? Did you check out any of Chalamet on SNL last night?
I sure did. I sure did, Doctor. And I am a super fan. I am biased, okay? But I'm also not a fan of SNL. I don't think it's a good show anymore. I really don't. And I do think Timmy has that like star appeal where like I think his monologue had good bits. The Gary Busey bit was good. The Oscars bit was good, or slash like awards losing bit was good. But like it wasn't like the greatest monologue, but it's Timothée Chalamet, so it's great, you know? The skits themselves were pretty poor. Like the AI bit was pretty bad, the working out bit, whatever. And then obviously what we all wanted to know was the Dylan performance. And like, did you catch this?
This is the only thing I was really interested in, along with the monologue. And you go, but I that's really what I want to get down to.
He like teased it in the monologue, saying like, "Hey, like these are gonna be my favorite songs, and they're probably not ones you know." And he was absolutely right. Did not really know them. The first one was the medley, Outlaw Blues and Three Angels, right? And the Three Angels part had like a weird volume change. It like I had to turn it up like 20 notches in my volume. It just completely changed because the medley just like it was a loud first half and then quiet second song or low second song. And he also didn't do the Dylan voice and the isms.
His own spin.
Yeah, it was himself. And then obviously at the end, Adam Sandler introducing him, by the way, he does the acoustic Tomorrow's a Long Time. And I thought that was really good. But again, it was his voice. And I thought in a deep track as well, not really a recognizable song. I thought he was good, but like it didn't like take my breath away.
Okay, so I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum. I thought he was really awesome. And what I think, and I see these highlights that I go to the SNL Twitter page and I'm looking through a couple of the skits. I don't care as much. Just give me the performance. And what I noticed that is that he kind of had like a little bit of bedhead going on. He still got the mustache from Marty Supreme. Like he doesn't look as polished and clean cut. But I think what I took away from that is that he can do this getting out of bed. Like he is that talented. That's kind of what I took away from it. You know, how much fun he has on screen, but just natural charisma. And this, I think, after watching the performance and then also the acting and the comedy skills, this is reinforcing my take that he is more Ryan Gosling than Leonardo DiCaprio. Like he is. And I think after watching this performance, I immediately went to the Oscar odds and I went to Best Actor. And right now, it is Adrian Brody minus 160, and then you have Chalamet at plus 200. After that SNL performance and its reception, I am betting on Timothée Chalamet to win Best Actor.
That's just smart money.
It,
You got to go to the plus money there,
I
especially with
like
the AI controversy.
such a smart move to do both the acting in the skits and the musical performance. Not many people have done it, by the way. Gary Busey shouted out at the beginning, but there's been a lot of people that have hosted and done the singing, but they're usually singers. They're
Right.
actual part of bands, right? They're pop stars. Chalamet is basically the second person as an actor to do it. And the person who did previously Busey, it was 1979. Busey did the skits, but then he kind of just did a drum solo, for the musical act. And he was coming off 1978 Buddy Holly story. So it's like you see a obvious pattern here, but I think I'm betting on Chalamet to win Best Actor. And even though if I do think that Adrian Brody probably was the better performance this year, I think with the AI and the votings due February 11th or something like that.
Yeah.
And the nominations just came out. Chalamet's the guy to me. I think he's going to win. His campaign has been unreal.
Yeah, and that helps with that December release and the full like press tour he did, just not just for himself but for the movie, right? And that's why like that nationwide release Christmas Day helped versus like the Brutalist that's really like just got a nationwide release.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's being more driven by the awards that it's gotten already and the nominations. And now you have the AI controversy. It's like no one's seen this movie to back it up, to say like, just don't worry about that. Now it's like a complete unknown. Everyone's seen it. And everyone loves Timmy. Everyone loves this SNL's like performance and his press tour here. It's just like it has everything behind it. Like the audience is behind it versus the Brutalist. It's like a small number of people are behind it. And now it's like, oh, like, should I go see this 3.5 hour epic with an intermission? Like, I don't know. So it's just like, that's why I think just a Christmas release nationwide is just still the smart play versus just doing the select, like the Brutalist route when you just did a select theaters, like 50 nations nationwide, and you wait until the end of January to release it. Like, I still think you need to build momentum and you need to build an audience, a following, your loyal, like servants, that Timmy has done and a complete unknown. I still think that's the path for the Oscars.
Like Timothée Chalamet definitely has the popular vote over, let's say, an Adrian Brody, right? What Adrian Brody has over Chalamet is that he's won an Oscar before, right? Chalamet's been nominated, but obviously hasn't had, right, the best actor yet. He was nominated for best supporting, and people have come out and people that have worked with people that are in this academy, they don't always watch all the movies, man. And I think if these nominations came out, they might have just thrown The Brutalist on their ballot and they said, well, this movie will be there. It deserves a nomination. I don't even have to see it. But when it comes to actually watching the movie, they might get turned off by this AI talk. They might get turned off by it. And it already had the 3.5 hour runtime, the intermission built in. We've talked about it. We wanted to review this on the podcast for like a couple weeks now, but you literally cannot find time to watch it. It will take 5 hours of your day to go watch the movie. How many people in the Academy want to take up 5 hours of their day? Probably busy people working on movies. They have a lot of stuff to get to. How many are going to set aside 5 hours for The Brutalist? Or they watch a music biopic where they know it's going to have a template they've probably seen something eerily similar to, and it's Timothée Chalamet, and you see how charismatic he is on SNL. Like, they're probably going to watch that movie over The Brutalist. And if they're like, oh, that was pretty goddamn good, they're probably going to go Chalamet. I think the plus 200, it's a steal if you're betting that right now. But any other thoughts on the best actor race before we hit the checkup?
I think plus 200 is a good bet on January 26th as we're recording this. Like, that's like, he should not be plus money after, like, if you're doing like a power ranking styles of like, just like where the odds should be, like, that doesn't make sense. There's something off with that because clearly the race has tilted towards Timmy. If you just look at obviously the campaign since the nominations and also with the AI, like, it should be tilted. So I think taking the plus money here is just do a little sprinkle if you don't even want to do one unit. Like, that's just a smart play. That's just like, that's obvious, like, value.
And that was on Odds Checker that I found those odds. So maybe we'll look at like DraftKings or FanDuel, see what they are. I don't even know if they'll have Best Actor, and will they have the Oscar? Sometimes they don't. But Odds Checker, that's what it was. Plus 200 for Chalamet, minus 160 for Brody. We're betting the freaking house on Chalamet.